Yo, yo,
Yo,
yo.
yo, what's up? What's up?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. As promised yesterday, same place, same
Same
time.
time.
Welcome back. We are here again. And I'm Ruben. And today I'm with
Let's have a.
Hailey Tauber. How are you
I'm
today?
good and you,
How was your day?
Ruben. Tiring, hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry.
How
We're
was
about to have
yours?
a better day now. My
Yeah,
day was okay.
definitely.
Yeah, it was decent. Anyways, yesterday obviously we spoke about work readiness and how to prepare for the world of work, and we had our expert, someone who obviously has experience. We had Yael, who is a nurse manager. She has experience with interviewing people. She has experience with, I don't know, HR. Yeah, I don't know, stuff like that. Yeah, HR. So she obviously gave us insights of what recruiters look for when they're interviewing you, when they're looking through your CV. And I think it was a very good day yesterday.
It
I
was very
personally,
productive.
I learned a lot from her yesterday. And so obviously we had comments yesterday from people that we didn't cover, but today we are looking at those comments from people and a few questions that some viewers had. And also, just a reminder, if you have a comment or a question, don't forget you can always leave it down in the comment, and we'll always look at it. We'll never ignore you. We'll never ignore you.
Never.
We are not that. Never mind. You can. You can. My Litabo is gonna look through the questions, and we will discuss. Before we go further, how could I forget? We are not alone.
We're not alone. We
are
have some
not-
of our people here.
We have panelists with us. Panelists, may you please introduce yourselves?
I was wondering when you're going to introduce us.
I'm
Literally,
sorry.
I thought you had forgotten about
You know,
us
the
for a
afro,
minute.
the afro, it blends in with the couch.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, there's no
Are
one
they
here.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Michelle Kiriboni. I usually just present myself by both my names. I hope you don't mind. I am Michelle Kiriboni.
Nice.
Hi, viewers all over the world. My name is Anna Matani.
All right. So Michelle and Anna will be here with us today. They will help us discuss, obviously, the questions you have. And let's go through with the first question.
So, guys, as you have learned, Ruben has told you guys that we have a few questions from our YouTube and some of our WhatsApp messages. So, I'm just going to read a few messages from the people that have them. So, it says that the first question, if I'm at work and I'm a Christian, do I hide my belief if I see that majority are not for it? Whew, that's a deep one, eh?
So what do I hide my belief if I know that majority are not with it?
Yeah. Okay, the second one would be, as a Christian, do I
No,
sometimes
let's cover the
use-
first one first.
Should we?
Yeah, let's talk about the
Okay.
first one. and
All
then,
right.
yeah. So
If I'm at work and I'm a Christian, do I hide my belief if I see that majority are not for it? Yeah. Anna, maybe you can start by telling us what do you think about that?
Basically, I feel like as a Christian, I don't have to hide, but I feel like you should have boundaries, especially when you are at work, right? Let your attributes, let your work speak for you to say, okay, this person is different, you know, the way they do things, how they do things. So, no, I won't hide that I'm a Christian, but the way I live my life should reflect that at my workplace.
And Michelle?
Okay, so as you were introducing that topic, I think it reminded me of the most famous quote, which says, you know, we teach young girls to be ambitious, but not too ambitious. So I think it also stems from the fact that we as Christians have told ourselves to be Christians, but not too much of a Christian in order to shrink ourselves to fit into certain environments. I, for one, can vouch for the fact that when I started work, I had to study the environment first before I just went gun blazing with my Christianity. And I think that's problematic because you then ask yourself, does that mean that you only fully a Christian when you with your fellow, or you only shrink yourself when you try to feed into certain environments? So what I learned from that experience is I do not have to shrink myself or shrink my Christianity to accommodate everyone. They should be able to see the person I am, understand the person I am, and go, you know what, you're a Christian, or they might say, I'm a Muslim, let's come together. It doesn't matter how much of a Christian or Muslim you are. You don't have to shrink yourself in any way. at all.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a very crucial subject because I feel like I also have that same kind of experience
Yeah.
at the work I'm doing. So I can't just say, "Oh no, I'm not coming. I'm going to church." I can't do that. Some of them, what are you going to
True.
do at church? What are you
Yeah.
doing at church every day, every weekend? So
And that's
it's
because they
quite
don't
difficult 'cause you also have
understand.
to lie that.
Exactly.
God, please forgive me, but I'm doing this for you.
Now, if I'm being honest with me, I don't like. I'm very strict with church, especially. Like I
Okay.
tell my manager, like, hey, I'm going to church. Don't schedule me today. Yeah, nothing comes in between me and God. Like so.
That's true.
Mm.
But that's nice, but not all workplaces
Yeah, not
are
all- yeah, it's
healthy
true,
like
yeah.
that.
It's also in terms of how do I. What is the question? How do I portray myself as a Christian? Like even if people are not for it. I also think we live in a more accepting world these days. Like more people accept that people are different. People have different beliefs. Obviously, people do their own stuff. So, I feel like it reminds me of the story of Peter and Jesus when Jesus told him when the chicken or the whatever does this, you deny me. So how are you denying God because you feel like people around you won't accept him? Are you denying Jesus because people around you won't accept him? So that's what I think about this question.
That's true.
So let's look at Peter. Let's remember Peter's story and let's
Let's let
incorporate
Peter
that
be
in our lives.
example.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So we're gonna move on to our next second question. Pardon. As a Christian, do I sometimes use working hours to evangelize to people? I'm gonna repeat that for those who didn't get that. As a Christian, do I sometimes use working hours to evangelize to people?
I feel like a big reason to why many people don't like Christians is because we are imposing. Like we're like yeah, be Christian. Yeah, it's like more people are forcing Christianity to people. So I think you should evangelize with your lifestyle. Evangelize with
How you're living,
how you're
on a
living,
day-to-day
yes.
basis.
And they
True.
should be motivated and inspired by you. And
Yeah. So for me, I think it goes on to what I said. I taught myself to shrink myself. So the first day of work, I was just, I went in slowly, doing the most of, by God's grace, this will happen, God willing. The next day I gone, in the name of Jesus, that will not happen. God forbid, this will not happen. And it kept on going and going. So I think when you ask the question, using work hours to evangelize, I think like he said, it's more of the person you are.
True.
Let the person you are as a Christian speak for itself. So you don't have to say, oh no, now it's lunchtime, let me go and evangelize. Let your lifestyle speak for itself. So for me, I always made sure that, my lifestyle, what I speak, what I say, becomes something that people are like, okay, no, she is a Christian.
Yeah.
At some point, I even told myself that I'm a walking Christian. I don't have to say anything in order for someone to be like, you have to speak in order for you to,
So
for us to hear that you're a Christian. So let your
So what
lifestyle
you're doing
speak.
at home should be done
At
everywhere
work
you
is
go.
exactly.
True.
So, yeah.
That's true. Oh.
Also, to add to that, for us not to be hypocrites, because sometimes we live like double standards. At home, you're one person, and then at work, you're another person. I feel like we should be consistent. If you say you're a Christian, let us see it.
Don't be a part-time
Let
Christian.
us see
Yeah.
it. Let us see it. How you speak, how your etiquette, how you talk to your colleagues at work, but also with the topic of evangelizing. Sometimes I feel like when you have topics, when you're at lunch, obviously that topic comes up. Christianity will come up. You understand? One way or the other. They will ask you, okay, why do you have your amuka for the guys? Why do you have on your cross? Why do you have on this? So that topic will always start, but always know not to impose yourself to people,
Yes.
not to force yourself. Yeah.
Well said.
And I think we also had a comment in video format from one of our viewers. So we'll just let that roll now and then we'll get back into it after that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Well, viewers, apologize for the interaction. Sorry, my bad. So we're just gonna move quickly to one of our viewers who sent us via our social media platforms. Ruben will read it out loud for us.
Yes.
Sorry, my words today.
So-
are very,
What's wrong with your words today?
I don't know. It's very hot. It's rough, hey?
Yeah, it's
It's
okay.
rough.
They'll
My
come out, they'll
Christianity
come out.
came out.
Anyway, so this person says, as a Christian in the workplace, I've realized that it is better to show that you are a Christian through your lifestyle, which is what we're talking about. Yes. How you treat and speak to people, colleagues, rather than preaching on them. When you are true to who you are and allow people to be comfortable around you, you allow them the opportunity to open up without feeling judged, which then creates an opening for you to tell them about Christ and testify about God's goodness in your life and where you received your help and how they too can be helped. I think through love and being kind and have some understanding to others, also by being vulnerable about your own battles or struggles as a Christian, makes them see you as a human who has found love and freedom in Christ, regardless of your flaws. Being that real and honest is far much better than quoting scriptures to them that you yourself are also struggling to live by and are still learning. Let your lifestyle speak more about who you are, a Christian.
I think that resonates with what
Yes.
Anna and Michelle said right there. That's true. Let your lifestyle as a Christian be what you are, tell who you are. It should speak for you. That's true.
That's very true. And also, I kind of forgot what I wanted to say. But also, she said, let me read through it again. Oh, yes, she spoke about love and being kind, which is another thing that I feel like the Christians of this day and age, we've kind of forgotten that
How
the
to
main
love.
message of Christ was to love your neighbor,
Yes.
to be kind. Now, many people are just judging you because you're not Christian because of your flaws, while you also have flaws. So, anyway, what's your take on that?
I think she really said a lot. That is really, really beautiful. She spoke about the few things that we also mentioned. And what I loved about the ending is that we should practice love. And I think that's one thing or one of many that we as Christians seem to move away from. I remember someone once said to me, they're like, non-Christians will literally 10 will fit in one car. But as Christians, we even fail to, accommodate each other in our own spaces. And I think that's one thing that I kept on thinking about. I'm like, as Christians, we talk love, we preach love, we shout and yell love. But now the question is, do we practice love? And I think that is really important because as Christians, I think we're moving away from one of the commandments that we were literally told. We should love one another, as God has loved us.
Yep.
Yes, also to add to that, it's very sad, especially on the youth side, to say, because sometimes even amongst ourselves, amongst our circles, we still have this rage. There's no love amongst us.
True.
And it's sad, because what are you portraying? You're saying to us like you're a hypocrite. You're saying you're a Christian, but the things that you're doing, your actions, how you speak about what you speak about others is wrong.
It's wrong.
So for me, like, it hurts because I feel like we should be, as Christians, so accommodating. There should be that love whereby you feel like accepted everywhere you are, where you go, what you do. But like, I just hate the hate that we show amongst each other as Christians. I hate it. I hate it. It must stop, guys.
You must stop, guys.
Okay. True. So should I go on to our next question?
Yes.
Yes. Our next question is, as a Christian at work, what is the best way for me to present myself without me even saying I'm a Christian, but people still know that I'm a Christian? I think it's one of the things also highlighted in that. Yeah. So please, viewers, don't forget to let us know what you think on our platform. Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. Oh, this is actually someone who said something that they often times hear some people when they get in a heated argument that they want to put Christianity aside before they say or do anything they know isn't appropriate. So in one of our teachings of our fellow prophet, what are our thoughts regarding that?
Okay, so are we doing the second question or the first? Sorry.
I think, the first question we kind of highlighted it, but you can
did.
speak more of it if you want. But let's dive in.
No, like you said, we did highlight on it when we said let your Christianity speak for itself by just how you represent yourself. Let yourself just be a walking Christian. So yeah, I don't think there is any more than that I can add into. So unless
I would like to add this comment that the Father always taught us to say, dress Jesus well. In your appearance, in your speech, in how you dress, in how you do things, dress Jesus well. That's it.
All right. So we'll dive more into this topic and this conversation afterwards. So right now we're just going to have a little break. You as a viewer can go refresh yourself. I don't know.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
We have more for you coming up.
Right after the break. Welcome back. So obviously earlier we had a video that with technical difficulties unfortunately you couldn't hear, and we had to sort that out. But luckily it's sorted out. So right now we're just going to go straight into the video, and then we'll talk more about the topic, more about the video, and we'll just have a good conversation as young Christians.
I think one of the person from our video is Bushe.
Yes,
so
her
she
name
will
was
be
Bushe.
telling us also how her experiences in her workplace have been, and what does she think more on the topics and questions we've raised. So stay tuned, viewers. We'll be back.
Hello everyone, my name is Bushe Madumani. I am a field marketer for Diageo. In the working environment, it's important that people know your stand, people know who you are, people know what you believe in, and you don't necessarily have to preach to them or anything, but how you live, how you speak, your attitude, how you treat people at work, all those things are important, and that's how you show people that you're a Christian. Okay, not being a problem maker, being a problem solver, just your general lifestyle and your conduct in the workplace. That is also important, and I believe that's how you show people that you're a Christian. You don't have to preach to them, you don't have to give them verses or anything, but how you treat them, how you show God's love towards them. That's the only way to really show people that you're a Christian. You don't have to say it, but your actions will speak for you. Thank you. Bye.
Welcome back. That was very insightful, obviously.
True.
And so now, let's talk a little bit more about our experiences in the workplace. I mean, I think
Ruben, I think I heard right. You're working now. I think you've grown. Big up, big
come
up.
on. Well, for me, with my work experience, as like working as a Christian, for me, it hasn't really been hard because it's like a thing of, I wouldn't say my lifestyle shows that I'm a Christian, because obviously I'm not perfect. Like, I mean, I'm young as well, so for me, when like portraying my Christianity, it's more of a thing of when someone asks me, "Oh, Ruben, why don't you do this?" And like, just like, I don't want to say like Christians don't drink and smoke, but like I'm young. A lot of people like me drink and smoke. A lot of people my age drink and smoke, and I don't do that. So obviously, people like some of my colleagues ask me, "Ruben, you don't drink. Ruben, you don't smoke." I'll be like, "Yeah, I don't do it. It's not because I'm Christian, but it's just because it's just not me."
That's just not you.
But then when people say that in their head, they're like, "Oh, so you're Christian," and then that's when I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Christian." So I think that's a way that I portray my lifestyle as a Christian. What about you guys? What can you say about that?
I think our panelists can go first. Michelle is eager to quite say.
No, I wanted to say something before I forget. I wanted to add on to what Ruben said. When it comes to the whole drinking alcohol and taking part in certain things that people think we Christians shouldn't do. So when I started in my own workplace, the first thing I told them when we went to the company's bar was, I don't drink alcohol. And then, they tell me, they're like, "Oh, so, we give you 2 years. We'll make sure you start drinking." And I'm like, it's not that I'm not drinking because, I hold myself in high esteem or, I judge people. I personally just do not get myself, like, I don't want to do that. So I think for me, then people started realizing that maybe it's because she's a Christian, maybe. Then they're like, "Is it because you're a Christian?" I'm like, Christians do drink. Come on, Christians do drink, but it's a personal choice. I mean, we're not perfect. And I think that's the problem. Many people think as Christians, we shouldn't drink, we shouldn't go to clubs, we shouldn't party. And you're like, we're not perfect. We are not perfect. Like Ruben said, our lifestyles, in as much as we want our lifestyles to portray Christianity, sometimes it's not as easy as ABC. There's just so much that is required of Christians, and sometimes we like, only Jesus was perfect, if we're being honest. And I'll find myself falling short of what the term Christianity is. And I expect people to be okay and to be fine with that. And just for me personally, my experience in my workplace, it was not that I went in there going, I want the whole world to know I am a Christian. I hoped that through what I was saying, through my conduct, the whole world would know that I am a Christian. I didn't have to impose that on people or put myself out there, force it on them that, what, don't do this because, as Christians, we don't. No, just live your life and let everything that stems from that already tell people who you are as a person and as a Christian as well.
As we all know, actions speak louder than words.
Very true. Very
right?
Word.
So, my work experience, I've worked in a couple of places, and all of them required a different side of my Christianity. I feel like, yes, you're a Christian, but you have different sides of your Christianity. So with me, So there are jobs whereby I had to volunteer. So that side, you saw that, okay, this person actually, she does this thing because she loves it. Like, it's not a matter of she's Christian or not, you know? And then when you go to retail, how you interact with the customer, they'll ask you questions like, you're so different, you know? Some people will be like, can you give me your numbers? And you're like, no, bruh, I'm good. I'm at work. You understand? So they'll be asking you like, why? And Donna, like, would you like a drink? Do you want to go out with me? And you're like, no, man, like, I'm good. And then that, like, even the next time they come and see you as a client, as a customer, they're like, yo, dude, like, what's up with you? You're so different, you know? Out there, people are doing their own thing, and you like this, like, and you don't change. So for me, I feel like it's hard being a Christian, guys. Can we just be honest? It's hard being a Christian, but it's not hard to a point whereby like, yay, bruh, like, I'm tired of being a Christian. It's hard in the sense that there's a lot of work you have to put in.
Yes.
True.
You have to plant that seed to see that Christianity to flourish. You understand? So like, yeah, be yourself, guys. Be yourself. And I feel like we like to compare ourselves with maybe our pastors. You know, we want to be particular, you know, a particular Christian to be like great and big. No, start where you are, you know. Don't judge yourself too much and don't condemn yourself too much as a Christian. Live your life. Stop being religious. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, another thing that I try to portray with my Christianity is like being a Christian doesn't mean being perfect.
True.
You know, it's a journey at the end of the day. And, you know, obviously there come situations whereby your colleagues or anyone they see you doing something and they're like, I thought you were a Christian. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, let's say you bump your leg or something and you mistakenly cuss, you know. Yeah. So like, it's just something that, you know, out of instinct, like it just goes, and then someone will say, I thought you were a Christian. Why are you saying that? And I'm like, come on, man. Being Christian doesn't mean, yes, I'm human, but it's also a journey. The only perfect being was Jesus.
Yeah, true.
But we shouldn't use that as an excuse, right?
True.
Yeah, we obviously shouldn't use that as an excuse. Yeah. Anyways.
Personal
Me.
experience. We haven't heard yours.
No, I'm a stay at home. I'm joking.
You work from home. Yeah, maybe this is something we can talk about. How do you portray
True.
being a Christian while working from home?
Yeah, but
There is that as well.
there
Yeah,
is that. There is.
Yeah.
For me, hectic with a K. I won't lie. It's not easy. It's not, but I think for me always, like sometimes I say, God forgive me, I sometimes lie because I want to go to church and I know they won't give me the offer that I want.
Yeah.
But then I've learned, like, my Christian life speaks it all for me. Even if I lie, I have the faith that nothing's going to happen to me because that's my faith. I'm doing this for a good purpose.
Lying.
No, I'm not condoning it. Like, it's but sometimes we have to do what we got to do, honestly.
Okay, true.
And I think when you say your how you live your Christianity to speak for you, when you eat, sometimes eat around all of us, for example, they all dive into the food and I have to pray first.
Yeah.
And then and I'm like, no guys, we didn't pray. And then like, don't start us. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but you can't. That even if you don't go to church, that is what you're being taught when you've grown up, that you should pray
True,
before you
yeah.
eat. So like, I think it's not that difficult, but it's difficult.
So it is hectic with the K, like you said.
It is hectic. It is.
And you know, with this conversation we're having right now, I don't think it's just something that I feel like we've boxed it to work only.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a life thing. Even
True.
those who are
Even at
going to school, yes.
School.
Like one of the questions said, I've oftentimes heard some people when they get into a heated argument that they want to put Christianity aside before they say or do anything they know isn't appropriate. What does the prophet say about that, or what are our thoughts regarding that? This is actually story time. Story time. On our way here, you know, road rage, obviously. So on our way here, there was obviously this guy driving recklessly. So I'm looking at him, and in my head, I'm like, no, why don't we park here? We put Christianity our side. We park here, we come out of the car, we show him. Because so that's also something that we can talk about, because it's not only in work,
It's not,
that
it's
because
everywhere.
it's everywhere. It's like as your life, as you go on about with your daily life, like how do you portray
You can
Christianity?
even fight with someone at the till. Just
Yes.
by pay.
Yeah.
Like,
Like when the cashier
but
asks you
sometimes,
plastic.
I think sometimes it's your normal emotions. Because, like, I'd be like, why are you angry?
Yeah.
I just got here. I didn't do anything to you.
So,
You
Mama,
know?
we just arrived.
I just arrived.
We just arrived.
And the last time when the person was like, I'm like, I just said I love you. And
Oh.
I left. And then I'm like, no, I'm too Christian now. This is too much. But it's a good thing. I feel like it's a good thing. But it happens. I feel sometimes our emotions also as
like-
people,
Yeah.
we all get angry. But not like anger, but we all get angry.
But do you put your Christianity aside? That's the question. To say, like, do you put it aside? Do you do
I
what you
think
have
at the
to
moment
do?
when before you cuss, maybe sometimes you can think about it, but sometimes you already cuss and you can't think about it. You can only go and be like sorry to yourself or pray to God. Yeah, and just like it happened.
Something just hit me actually. I'm thinking, is Christianity something that we really can put aside if it is a part of us? You know?
That's
because
very- yo.
now like she asked, you know, she's like, Anna is like, but do you put your Christianity aside? And it hit me that fine, we might at that moment try to move away from saying, okay, I'm a Christian. You know, just go, God, allow me this once. Let me. But honestly, as you were talking, I'm like, I don't think it's possible to put away something that is a part of us. Maybe we might, in that moment, feel like we need to move away from the norms, you know, like being patient and calm. For one, I am short-tempered, hey? I'm a very nice person,
Yeah.
but when the situation calls for it, I can be something else.
Yeah.
But I realize that even in those situations, you know, I don't think I put my Christianity aside. I just handle my anger in a way that, you know, accommodates a Christian. I will be angry, yes. I will throw tantrums, but I don't think even in those moments of cursing, I am willing or I'm able to put away my Christianity. So I don't think we can put away something that is, you know, that is
That's
part
part of
of
you,
us.
yes.
That is part of me. So yeah, that's just my take.
Okay. Can I just quickly mention a question from our YouTube platform? Nande Komba has a question. Does Christianity have anything to do with identity or lifestyle? Or it's just something I put on only a Sunday? That's profound. That's very...
So I think we spoke about like he I'm like you now.
Yeah.
About being a hypocrite. So now when you say I'm only portraying that I'm a Christian on Sunday, that's you being two-faced now. Like you're saying, oh, I'm only a Christian when I go to church, but then he says, is Christianity an identity or a lifestyle? And our father always teaches us that. Our father, Prophet Philippan, is always teaching us that Christianity is a lifestyle. And he's always telling us not to be religious at the end of the day as well. So you want to say something?
No, I was just, you know, processing what you're saying, and I think I do agree with everything.
True.
I was just trying to process the question, is it part of our identity? And now I was coming to the question, what is, you know, your identity? And then while I was processing, I'm like, we all have individual identities. But one thing that's common is that we are all Christians here. But does that mean that it is part of our individual identities? And the question is, no, it isn't. So like you said, I do agree with you, Ruben, that Christianity is our lifestyle. It's not exactly part of every person's identity. We are all born, you know, individually, and as we grow, that's when we start making the choice to become a Christian. It's not something that was already in our genes. But of course, when you go deep, deep, deep and think, you know, Jesus Christ died for us, yes, it would be part of our genes. But the whole point is it's not I don't think it is our identity, but it is something that we incorporate maybe in the person that you are. When someone is to now ask you as Ruben, who are you? You know, you'll tell them I'm Ruben and I'm a Christian.
Yes.
Now you have incorporated Christianity as part of your identity, but I don't think it was initially part of your identity.
I like how you're going at that. It's true.
Yeah.
You know, when you spoke about incorporating, you know, it's something we actually spoke about the other day. Like, should you really incorporate Christianity, God? Do you incorporate him, or should he be the center? Like, you don't incorporate. If you ask me, if you ask
I
me,
do, yeah, I
I'd
do
say
agree. It should always, like, he should always be at the
Yes.
center of it all. It's always Christianity. But I get you. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything to say regarding the incorporation, but yes, I do agree with you. Maybe we should incorporate, always be at the center. But my point was just that, you know, Christianity is something that we introduced in our lives, you know, as we live, and not something that we were just, you know, born with out of the blue, just like that. So, yeah.
So I have a question. I don't know if you can get the question I want to ask, but let's say you have friends, or you're someone that people like talking to, and if someone asks for your advice, does your first person instinct advise the person, or your Christian life instinct, what you've learned from, let's say, example, our prophet? Do you advise the person the same way that he can advise you, or has advised you? Or, I don't know, just...
at the end of the day, when someone is asking you for advice, it's from personal experience. It's not. I try not to be religious,
True.
of course.
True.
But every time someone asks me for advice, it's. I always say a small prayer before I talk. I'm like, God, please help me. May you speak through me. May you speak through me, so that I may not mislead the person. Because at the end of the day, you are dealing with someone's life, and
what you say.
yeah,
is
what you say can make or break. So my first instinct, which also can mean it's part of my lifestyle, I ask God. I'm like, God, help me to not mislead this person.
I also think on some situations it's safer to say, you know what, I think ask someone who has experience, because you might not have experience. And someone is asking you about marriage, and I've never been married.
But our father teaches us about marriage, so
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
I
so
get
that's
you.
what I'm saying. If I act on my instinct and I tell him, and I don't know what happened,
Yes.
and I will tell you the wrong thing to do, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So just seek someone.
Weird thing, actually. I always find myself in situations where I advise people about something that I don't have experience in. For example, you know, my friends that are in relationships, knowing that I'm single, they come to me, they're like, you know, this happened, can you advise us? And I'm like, do you really trust me that much, you know, with this information? So I think it also stems from the fact that maybe they know the person that you are, you qualified enough to advise them. Sometimes it's not that, since I have no experience in this, I'm not able to.
Yes.
Like our Father in the Lord obviously teaches us so much about relationships, about marriages, to the extent that someone will be like, I feel like I'm already married. I really can advise someone on this topic. So yeah, like she said, you know, sometimes it's always best to ask someone who has experience, but where you feel like you're able to advise, then I think you should. Also, like Ruben said, asking God to, you know, to be the words you speak, you know, to guide your tongue, your thoughts, and everything that flows from it should be from Him. That is provided, of course, you're not experienced. But also, if you experience, still, it's always a matter of, God, can I not advise this person, you know, wrongly? Because at the end of the day, the choice they make will always fall back on the advice you gave.
my funny take on whether you have experience or not, you know, when you're watching football, is the coach on the pitch. The coach doesn't play the game. Anyway, that's just a joke, but yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, the coach doesn't play the game, but anyway, we'll get more into that after the break.
Yeah, stay tuned and let us know what you think on our YouTube channel.
want to pray for destinies of these people. They mustn't, the devil should not steal their destiny. They should enter their destiny, God to raise them up. Others are pastors, apostles, prophets, missionaries, evangelists, doctors, nurses. Come on. We've got politicians here. Future leader of this country is here. So let's offer prayer. Even if your child is not here, you will receive grace. None to backslide, none to go backward, but forward ever, to enter their destiny, to be given good friends, good company, all of them to be employed when it comes to time of employment, protect them from sickness and disease, from anything that can destroy their future, that the men and women of war, men and women who know how to pray, to stand for Christ, in their youthfulness, they win thousands and thousands for Christ. Over prayer, over prayer.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you just tuned in, we kind of went off topic a little, just a little, because our main topic was work readiness, and just a follow up from yesterday. Like, we're just carrying on from yesterday's conversation, which was work readiness. If you didn't watch yesterday's episode, you can always go back and watch it after we finish here. And so today we are talking about work readiness, and we have someone who is more in a senior position. Obviously, I don't think
Like higher.
none of us here but one day definitely
my Christianity will.
Yeah. Definitely. So we have Mr. Brian, who's in a senior position in he's a boss, Alan. He's a boss. Yeah. So we'll just hear from him now, and then we will talk about that, and then let's just go straight into it.
Good afternoon, greetings. My name is Brian Kambani, and by profession, I'm a human resources business partner, and I work within the financial services industry and for one of the big banks in the country. I've been in my profession for the past 11 years, and the experience spans across recruitment, performance management, organizational design, org effectiveness, well-being, all of those aspects that talk to the people components within a company. So these are the people we expected to run and do what needs to be done for the business or for the company to thrive. So I'm talking to the audience really today just to enlighten, to say, when you're within the professional space or within a corporate space, and engaging with people as I do in my current role, there's a certain way of being, or there's a certain way of showing up. And having said that, you overlay that with who you are as a Christian. I am a Christian, and there are certain ways that one needs to show up. And it's very difficult, because when you're within a corporate space, there's a lot of that people come from all sorts of backgrounds. Some don't believe in anything. Some come through as atheists. Some come as with their different religions. Some just remain neutral. But the question is, who am I in the midst of it? It's very important to still maintain one's identity. And often people say, you need to bring in a different character when you're at work. You're a different person when you're at home. When you're at church, you're a totally different person. But based on the teachings that I've received, it's very important to be real, be original, be yourself. I think often, instead of me talking about being a Christian, it's me coming across as a Christian. How do I behave myself? How do I talk to people? One of the major things that really is an indicator in within the corporate space is you have, I would call it, different levels of of professionalism or the different levels of engagement. Some are higher in terms of hierarchy, some are lower. And sometimes you might not necessarily agree with the person who's higher than you, who's maybe at a higher level in terms of the hierarchy than you. But how do you behave? We are taught in the Word of God that authority comes from God, right? Whether you agree with it or not, do you submit to authority? Do you understand what it means to be in a position of authority? So for me, that's one of the things to say. I don't need to preach to say I'm a Christian, but how do I behave in those types of things? Yes, it's very difficult because there are different opinions and people behave and they manage things differently. But that's one of the key things for me. Instead of talking, do I submit to authority? Yes, that's one of the things I'm taught. As a Christian, that's one of the characteristics that come up and show that I am a Christian. Often, when you walk into the workspace, I know these days people work remotely, virtually, etc. But when you come to the workspace, one of the things that the prophet asked in one of the teachings was to say, if he were to come to your workspace and ask, is there a Christian around here? Would they be pointing at me or you? And that is the challenge that we are all confronted with, because my character, my demeanor, the way I speak needs to be testament of who I am. If I'm a child of God, if I'm a Christian, then it means I need to live in a certain way. Sometimes I think we overthink things to say, if I'm in the workspace, I need to be walking around with the Bible and be quoting scriptures, etc. For me, I think the Bible and the Bible needs to be in you, right? Do you show respect? Do you acknowledge people, whether they're at a higher level or a lower level? For me, it's just how you carry yourself. It's how you engage different individuals. So yeah, for me, there's certain ways that you can show, and there are instances whereby in my own role, because where people are concerned, right? There sometimes people don't know how to cope with the work. Sometimes you find that the work is a lot. Sometimes the demands are so much. It's so that the pressurized deadlines, they have no idea how to meet certain deadlines, how to meet the expectations from their bosses, etc. And as I mentioned, people come from different backgrounds. So when I get that opportunity to engage somebody, when that opportunity comes, I'll ask to say, but why do you depend on yourself? Don't depend on yourself. Remember who has brought you here. And for me, those are opportunities whereby I use to almost influence and impart the knowledge that I have without quoting scripture. And when it does allow to get to that point whereby we speak about that, then that's when I can go deep and I guess share my experiences. For me, it's always been about my own personal experience. I do not quote something that I don't know of. It's me. If I can think of an example whereby there were two individuals, they were working very closely with a colleague who unfortunately passed on, which was very sudden. They were very disturbed, and there are sort of plans and systems put in place to support employees through their trauma and any of the tragic experiences that may go through. And in that conversation, that was an opportunity, and that was really, it happened about a year or two ago. That really was an opportunity whereby for the first time I offered prayer with that person, with those two individuals, to say to you, just testing, are you a Christian? Because I'm not enforcing. People have different backgrounds. And when those individuals, you believe in God, are you a Christian? And they said, yes. And for me, men can come, men can intervene, but it's God Almighty at the end of the day who gives comfort. He understands, he knows why whatever happened has happened. So for me, that was an opportunity, and we offered prayer. And then the other things followed suit. So for me, it's just caring yourself, because for those individuals to trust enough to say, yes, let me be open with you, let me offer that prayer. For me, I think it's testament. So long story short, I think be yourself. Do not compromise. there's certain things that you will need to do whereby, as mentioned, in a human resources type of role, there's issues around confidentiality, there's issues around ethics. You're presented with a lot of opportunities whereby do you support the wrong or do you call out what is wrong and enforce the good? And for me, that is where my Christian background comes in to say, do I compromise because I want to fit in and then I support the wrong? So yeah, it is not an easy journey, but having been taught what we are being taught, it is very important to remain true to yourself. Don't change. Don't force yourself on anyone, but be true to yourself, because eventually somebody will come and say, but you're different. How do you not crack under pressure? Why are you always happy? Those are some of the questions that I'm asked, to say, why are you always happy? How do you deal with such difficult situations? And when that opportunity comes, I'm like, I don't depend on my own strength. I dig deep in terms of what fills me, and what fills my cup is staying true to my faith and doing the things that really strengthen me. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really, really hard. I'm like, how do I go through this? Sometimes you find that the demands are so much. And sometimes you even get insulted based on maybe you've missed a deadline, or you just did not align or agree with a customer or colleagues or whatever the case. When I get my moment, I just walk away, excuse myself, find a room, just find a bit of calm, and then I go and approach it differently to say, I don't really appreciate how you spoke to me based on 1, 2, 3. Please, can we align in terms of how we engage each other? So that is me in a nutshell. But I think as young people, let's be open to realizing that not everybody's going to be the same as us wherever we go, and we're at different levels. Sometimes some people need patience. Sometimes some people need time. If somebody doesn't align with you or they don't hear, perhaps act more so that they understand. Perhaps show a bit of love, show a bit of patience. And then that's when an opportunity can come for somebody to realize you are different. It's a journey. As I said, none is perfect, but by God's grace, we soldier on, and we strive to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth wherever we are. So thank you very much. Wishing you all the best as you journey into whatever careers that you want to go into. May God's grace continue being upon you, and may He grant you His wisdom. And remember to retain the teachings that the prophet gives us. It's really life-changing, because you see them in real life when you're engaging other people who have not heard your teaching. And now it's almost like it's a test to say, how will you behave in such a situation? Thank you very much. Shalom.
Well, there you have it, our viewers, from our beautiful and most talented Brian. I think what Brian said answered most of our questions we have, most of our curiousness and our worries. So it's good to hear from someone in the corporate world and in a higher senior position like that. What are your takes?
Yes, it's always great to listen to someone with experience, someone who's in a higher position, because you obviously you learn a lot from them. But now it's time for what's the lesson, what is the takeaway? And we'll start with Anna. Or actually we'll start with me. So that you don't steal my point.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't want now when it comes to me, I'm like, she already said that. So for me, it's more of what was emphasized and what I should look through in my life is my lifestyle as a Christian. So I hope someone had wanted to say that, so that you don't.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. So it's just me. Unfortunately,
it's just you.
So for me, it's my lifestyle as a Christian. It's the emphasis on your lifestyle and the way things should go about, and obviously putting God first. Yeah, that was my takeaway. So we'll start with you, Anna.
My takeaway, I feel the prophet always teaches us. He says, do people confuse you for Jesus? Huh? Do people confuse you for Jesus? Are you Jesus? You know? So for me, that says a lot. Wherever you are, confuse the enemy, man. Show them that you are Jesus.
Never let them know your next move.
Never let them know.
Don't look like your problems.
Yeah, you know, even at your workplace, at home, confuse the enemy, you know, be that mini Jesus in your speech, in how you do things. And also there's that saying that says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But imagine if you're a Christian with a difference, how much difference you're going to make.
Nice.
Hala.
That's deep. Okay, so what I learned from today, first, from what Anna said, is that you should dress Jesus well. And with what she said, and you know, just the whole idea of be a walking Christian, like I said, imagine being a walking Christian dressed in Jesus. I mean,
Imagine
you're going to turn heads. Like everyone will be like, who is that girl? So for me, that's something that I really took out from today. It shouldn't be something that is forced. It shouldn't be something that you impose on people. Let your lifestyle, let the person you are as an individual, even as you're just seated, you know, let the Christianity in you, you know, speak for itself. So, yeah.
Nice. I didn't learn anything. We can move on.
Didn't learn anything.
I'm joking.
No,
guys.
Get up, go.
Honestly, the questions and the messages that have been sent to us, Anna and Michelle, what they've been saying for me, stick one line only for me was be who you are. Like, this is me. I'm Christian, and stand for what you believe in. That's me. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Unfortunately, let's all cry together. We've reached the end of our show.
We have to love you and leave you. We have
Honestly,
to love you and leave you.
we need a 2-hour slot
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
Like the whole day.
The whole
day.
yeah. We just sit down and talk. Yeah, honestly.
But we have to love you and leave you guys.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you didn't tune in live, you can always watch the rebroadcast. If you're doing that now, thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and subscribe and also like the video. So next week, catch us here again every Wednesday and Thursday at 6:30. Same place, same time.
Stay
Stay blessed and stay tuned. See ya.
blessed.